white folks see us as thugs. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care if you think you a lawyer, if you a man, if you an African American, if you whatever the fuck you think you are. We thugs and niggas to these motherfuckers. You know? And until we own some shit, I'ma call it like it is. How you gonna be a man if we starve?
When you black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. I'd rather go to war against my own government. I would never die for America. Black in America. When you black in America, feeling trapped in America. Feds shooting first, black lives, they don't give a damn, so you gotta stay strapped in America. Black in America. They don't understand what we go through. I don't give a damn what they told you. They be lying in the media. Don't believe none of what you hear, and only half what they show you. Black in America. When you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America. When you black in America, this is not for America. I've already struck out cause I'm old and black. I'm destined for jail cells and hearses. Lord, that's all they see for my future. My options, I play ball or rap. They think we not equal to them. Well, let me be the first one to cease all the rules. Cause we ain't got time for the small talk. I come from the city where the crooked niggas dwell. Feds come run away or get put in a cell. Lord show me heaven cause we living in this hell. Trying to stay afloat still bringing in them bills. Cause it's no jobs for a black man. They see us better as the trap man. Ride strapped in the mad black van. They ain't gotta tell us how to dance for a laugh now. They just kick back, watch us die over crack stand. Somebody help us, please help us now. If they can't control us, they just gun us down. They recruit them soldiers and knowing the war was for nothing, then come home and patrol the towns. And we ain't no better, we don't make it better by killing our neighbors. We idolize paper, we spend it, we chase it. But you ever looked at them bills? These the same motherfuckers who hate us. No, they don't give a fuck about me or you. They tell us shit like stay focused and count your blessings. An honest message is one of the biggest lies that ever been televised. We can start with 9/11. Oh, they sleeping, the truth right here. You can never live a day in these nightmares. We them niggas America might fear. White man, reality is a nightmare when you black in America. When you black in America, this is not for America. I'd rather go to war against my own government. I would never die for America. Black in America. When you black in America, feeling trapped in America. Feds shooting first, black lives, they don't give a damn, so you gotta stay strapped in America. Black in America. They don't understand what we go through. I don't give a damn what they told you. They be lying in the media. Don't believe none of what you hear, and only half what they show you. Black in America. When you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America. When you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America. Like a week ago, when MLK steps, and I can't say that in 20 years. Too much change, it's all the same. These niggas selling soul in exchange for the diamond rings, the lights of fame. But what can I say, man? It's the price of fame. The need to have all of the nicer things, but being oppressed while all the rights remain. Cause I'm black in America.
You say the fame
Hey,
with
if
that
y'all
mouth.
want to link your live to the abstract live, you can. If you want to do that. I don't know if it would. I don't think it should be. Yo. Good afternoon, folks. It is Abstract Excellence. Gifted, art, and driven. We in the building. What's up, y'all?
Hey. What's good? What's going on, bro? Hey.
So, we're going to get right to it. Y'all know last show. Well, first off, I'm sorry. No, we're not. Let's do all our introductions quickly. That way. You know, Black Love is in the building.
Oh.
Britt is back.
Yeah. You.
Megan! So, we have Megan in the building. Quickly. Megan is a de facto part of Abstract Excellence, but she does her own thing, and we're having her as part of the discussion, but I wanted to give her a little second to talk about what she's doing.
Oh, we're pursuing God for our own terms. And it's no longer your mother or your grandmother's church. It is our church. And so God has to be represented to us and to the world growing up around us. So Pursuit Tour does just that. So coming up in April 2020, we're definitely going to pursue God on our own terms in an abstract way.
Bingo. So, yeah. Then, we have Poundz in the building. And with Poundz, so we're not doing an introduction, but we're working on something with him, we're positive charge cooking. And my man's going to be every show. Now we're gonna have a sample of some type of food, so I'm putting them on the spot. We're supposed to start this week, but we're gonna wait till the next show because we got an intervention we gotta do real quick. Nevertheless, man, we got some things we working on. Everybody's working on segments, so y'all should be prepared for a lot to come in 2020. Everybody. So, nephew, what's good, sir? The Ark's Island, y'all know. Brody over there, Brody. And then there is my man Mo B. Mo B is in the building.
Hey.
Yo.
Mo B has his own thing that he's doing. He's also a de facto part of Abstract Excellence now at this point because we push our own. Mo has an amazing crab pie, but he just brought something else in here for us that we just tasted. I took back there. I gotta let Brittany nutty taste it because Poundz was trying to take it home. Yeah, I was trying.
Yeah. We already started snacking.
So we doing seafood lasagna, right? Seafood lasagna. But go ahead, man. I'll let you talk a little bit about your thing.
My Instagram is Chef Superdad 202, where I really specialize in crab pie, seafood lasagna, crab cakes, fire.
Yeah.
Shrimp and crab dip, fire. Lobster rolls, with all the seafood, everything is fire.
So y'all heard that, right? Y'all seafood lovers, man.
Fire.
Get with us. Listen, get with us.
Mm.
He doing his own thing off his own time and his own power. He got a regular job, but he doing his own hustle.
Every Saturday and Sunday.
Every weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend, y'all get y'all pre-orders to my man. I'm trying to tell y'all, we not. Listen,
Yeah, that's what
get
you
it
were
in.
talking about the other day. wasn't
Yeah,
it?
get it in.
Told me I
I'm
had to
telling
try it.
you, you gonna see him in
Oh,
Walmart.
great.
You gonna see him in
I had
Walmart
some.
soon,
Awesome.
like Patty's Jones.
Okay, if he says awesome,
It's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I just had
because he
some.
critiques everything.
So, I'm sorry, I almost
I'm
about
sorry,
to
I'm
move
sorry.
on. No, you good. Stan the man.
Yes, sir.
What's good, Brody?
Not much.
Yeah, Stan got a B-Day coming up, y'all. So,
Oh, yeah,
13th,
yeah.
y'all know.
Can we change
Yes,
Stan's
sir.
name now
Y'all know what it is.
to the smallest
we
man in
cannot.
showbiz?
No,
We can't give him that. We can't have
It ain't that time yet. It's not yet. Not
I
yet.
like that.
I'll second that.
I like
Second.
it. Yeah, I like it though, but I did not want to give him that. Like,
You don't want to give him that shine.
Y'all know,
Okay.
no,
5-0, y'all. 5-0.
Anyways, Stan has a B-Day coming up, man, and
Yes,
we'll
sir.
definitely celebrate a little bit of the next show.
Scorpio
But,
season.
Yeah,
Yes,
speaking
sir.
of, Muchacho, my man, I spoke with my man. Yeah, man, Novell.
His biggest birthday
Yeah,
today?
yesterday.
Happy belated, man.
Man, I love you, boy. That conversation we had yesterday, Slim. Like, I absolutely. We talked for like 3-4 hours. A lot of stuff, man. You amaze me, dude. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah.
Time for a biz now, man. Stop taking
Happy birthday.
Yeah, that's
now.
what I'm trying. Listen, my
Remember
man
knowing him
Freddie
from when he was
Grant,
young to now?
always. Whatever you want to do, Playboy, I got you.
Respect.
Moving on.
He's back. We still talking about something.
Yeah, I was gonna say happy birthday to my guy, brother Real.
Man.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Happy B-Day, Playboy, and happy belated birthday to my brother, my older brother Tony.
Word.
Now we got that all out the way.
Right.
We good? Everybody good?
We good.
All right. So, quick recap. Last week we kind of went around the room, discussed what we felt being a man and a woman meant to each of us and looked to each of us. Am I correct on that? Did I say that?
That's right.
Is that right? So yesterday we spoke when we were on a little meeting video phone. I know you guys. I'm looking this way because you guys weren't on the phone. Nothing personal.
Don't worry, we couldn't hear none of the stuff no way. So
Right.
it's gonna be new to us as well. We couldn't hear nothing nobody was saying no way. So
So we were just initially we were trying to decide what we wanted to do, but I think the young buck brought up a good point to try to figure out what's the difference between then, meaning our youthful years watching our parents, and now, like what changed and when did it change? So we kind of wanted to try to see if we can figure that out and get some answers on that. So we're gonna get started.
Okay.
No, we're gonna start on the end.
No.
We know we start.
He's gonna have to
okay.
I was getting jumped today. That was
I'm
the process.
joking, man. We already.
No, but I'm dead serious.
So last night we had a small conversation, and he
Right.
wanted to know what happened. You know, why was love different in the 30s? And he asked me like I was around in the 30s. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and start this off.
I'm
feel like it,
sorry.
I guess.
I'm sorry, hit my brain twice. I'm sorry.
Between the old timer and Tony, like I'm not much older than him, but
Oh my God.
love back in the day was it was viewed differently. It's what you had to do to actually get a woman.
Yeah.
Now what you do to get a woman is more based around, like I was telling one of the young girls, I say, you mad at your boyfriend for keep working all these jobs, but all y'all talk about is getting the bag. You know,
Yeah.
so how you
They don't
mad at
understand
him
what
when
get the bag
his focus is on the bag.
On
That's
the
what you
bag.
got him for, getting the bag. Now he's still on the bag, and you want him to change that.
Right.
Back then, it was more of a family oriented. You had to get to actually know the person. You had
Right.
to get to know their family. You had to get to know their likes and dislikes.
Right.
And then you kind of fell in love. Now you fall in love with, oh, he got on these shoes. He got on some, Giuseppe's.
Materialistic.
Right,
So
right,
it's
right.
materialistic love instead of back then in the 30s. We were poor, so
Yeah,
so
so
materialistic stuff.
that's all you had was time to love somebody.
We ain't had enough time to
Nobody
love.
else
You
no time
was
to
back in
love.
the 30s.
Late
Oh, no,
30s. I finished out in the 30s.
That's when they had tailored suits. That's how you got your woman. You had a tailored suit.
Yeah.
Piggyback on what you just said, you know, at one point in time when I was in a relationship with my wife, I worked 2 full-time jobs.
Okay.
That's her calling now.
Hold on.
Pause.
You better let them know what you
Let's answer the phone. We are answering the phone. Hear this thing.
Yeah, we good.
Good afternoon, Abstract Excellence. What's up? Who am I speaking with?
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hey, sis.
Hey.
Hey, sis.
Hey, brother.
I was right.
Hold on. First and foremost, audience people, this is sis on the phone. This is Anthony Big Hody's wife on the phone. She said she would call in, and we hung up on her last week by accident.
Yeah,
Oh,
It was
for sure.
phone problems, and people were late coming in. It was not my fault. Okay, sis. Sis is on the phone. Sis is on the phone.
did she hear the question?
Yeah, she's still there. Sis.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. She was actually part of the conversation last night. She kind of probably.
Oh, okay.
Right,
My
right.
apologies.
I think. Sis, you know where we at in this? Did you hear the question?
I didn't because I can't see it like I can see it live last week. I don't know why.
Don't scream on
Okay.
us, sis. Don't scream on
Yeah.
us.
Whoop.
Don't scream on us. Don't put that out there.
You looking at it on YouTube?
Yes.
We
For real?
We just I think we out.
Look,
I
Stan
know.
the man doing it right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm about to say, Stan is on it to make sure we good. But the question really was, what's the difference between then and now? And then meaning our parents and maybe some of their parents versus where we are now in terms of love and relationships. You hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah,
Think about it.
the listening part of the show for you. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. No, he wants to know your response.
You stay right there and listen, and then whenever you want to jump in, we'll tag you in real
So
quick.
can I ask her a question?
Yeah.
Okay, that'll work.
Raina.
That'll work. Yes.
So did you see your parents growing up? I mean, being married when you grew up?
Yes. My
Okay.
parents have been married my entire life.
Okay, so what do you think is the difference between them when they first started dating and when you and Anthony, when you guys first started dating? Was there a difference for you?
So my parents were dating and then had me, and I was 1 when they got married. So I can't tell you what it was like with them dating. But being part of a household where there was a mom and a dad, there is a big difference between now and then. Just general, period. There's a big difference. One of the differences is, and are you talking about me personally?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The role of the man and the woman in the house is different now. At least or at least I want it to be different. I sure hope they don't tune in.
Speaking.
There were growing up. There was a man role and there was a woman role in the household. Whereas the woman did, like cleaning, cooking, things like that. And I don't believe in that. So that is the biggest difference between how I grew up in a household with a woman and a man and how it is now.
So what's wrong with playing, I don't want to say secondary role, but everybody has a part in a relationship.
Before you do that, though, hold on. Because you asking that question, kind of like you're saying what's wrong, you got to kind of make sure you ask that in the right direction. Because right and wrong, it's not a right or wrong, it's subjective. So like she said, for her, she will hope. So you know that's kind of a loaded question because you're setting her up kind of to fail. Now, she already told you it's not something that she's saying everybody should do before her. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I wouldn't even. We can scratch that question. I just wanted to be clear. I wasn't trying to.
You gonna scratch?
Yeah.
I got the first question. Foul 5-0 against him.
5-1.
Yeah, 5-1. It's cool. 5-1.
Can I jump in for a second? To piggyback a little bit off of what Malcolm said just as well. Well, the household I grew up in was actually, I grew up with my stepfather, not my real father. So I seen that perspective of it, of you're not your biological father raising you. What I seen in their love, I mean, it was an old country woman and a young city slicker that met each other. So you can understand that type of dynamic that went together, you know. But the differences in what I see now, back then it was more. I mean, you could see it. It was more. Even in the music was different.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure. For sure.
You know, versus now. You know, when I listen to some of back then, it got on my nerve because you know, being honest, Friday through Sunday, I didn't want to hear that music because. You know, that's none of my business.
We all
but you understand, they're married. But you know, but I got tired of it. But and when I got older, I got to going back and listening to those songs, and I was like,
oh yeah,
you know, and you really the words they meant something. Then now you listen, I can't say what these words say now, you know, because it's too much to the point now.
Right.
But that's one of the differences I see is a big difference as far as the music and the way that the men are actually going after the women. Back then, you had to court a woman.
So can
I see it's supposed to light up. Hold
on.
Before things light up.
You right.
What did I say?
Yeah, you kind of skipped me now. You kind of skipped me.
What we do, we're going to get an order of things quickly. Because the fellas have kind of spoke a little bit, and both of the ladies kind of.
Which is true.
Stan?
Well, I want to say that, you know, back in the day, love was the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, in modern times, love is not the thing. You know, we all say we want love or whatever, but really we're not seeking that.
Well, I think we have to clarify what love is to really understand.
Well, I mean, just unconditional love in the most genuinest, purest sense or whatever. Like, even when you talk about now, like, we can all get jobs and we got phones and we can make money and all this and all that. But even when you talk about back in the day, people used to have large families. Like, my grandparents had 15 kids and everybody worked in a farm together every day. You know what I mean? That was a whole different type of situation. You know what I mean? They put their love energy into the field, picked it, took it inside, cooked it. You know, that whole experience was different.
That's a whole nother subject because that's called hard work.
I think the real thing we all saying, and really honestly, the difference between then and now, honestly, is just values. But we can get. I'll go last.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, love in the most basic sense. Like, people nowadays, right, will cook you food without loving it. They just cooking it to get the task done. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just speaking generally.
You know, you talking that energy and spirit we be talking about.
Yeah, and that's love. That's love. Even we can talk about anything. It's just it shows up everywhere.
So how do you love if you don't even know how to love yourself? That's one of the main problems today.
That's why
they can't even love themselves to understand what it is to admit love to someone else. We kind of talked about that. Like, you know,
let the ladies jump in.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We get ready to chatter, right? You know. So let the ladies jump in.
I think initially I misunderstood the question.
Okay.
Now that I can see you all, hey y'all.
Hey,
Raymond, welcome back.
And understand the question. Again, not on a dating aspect because I don't know what it was like for them dating. But one difference that I do see now between not just my parents and me and Anthony's relationships, just relationships, period. My mother and father, growing up, they didn't have any other friends. They loved each other, and that's all they knew was each other. That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. But there was no one else inside of their relationship. So when things happened, when it was good, it was good. When it was bad, there was no other friends or other sources to run to and vent to and be part of their relationship. So that is the biggest difference I see between them and us, or just relationships, period. Do I understand the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
'Cause I don't wanna speak
suggestion.
out of turn. Go ahead.
I think what's changed is the definition of security. So
okay.
you said back in the 30s. That's how far back we're going. Back in the day,
I think we should maybe go
women.
to the 60s.
Well, I mean, we can use the 60s, but 30s through the 60s, women. You said they was all working on farms and stuff. Women needed the security to know that my man could protect, provide for me. So every woman went out there looking for Paul Bunyan and his big diesel self, because he was gonna make sure that farm was working. My kids, all 20 of them, was gonna be protected. I was gonna be protected. When the Klan came through, he was gonna try to put it down to make sure we was straight. Now, y'all notice. Security has changed now. It's more a financial thing.
Right.
So the man that everybody's running around looking at now got on skinny jeans. He about this big because it doesn't matter how diesel you are, but his mental now. His mental is awesome because that's where the money is in big business. You ain't got to be Paul Bunyan to be a CEO.
Hold on.
I'm not finished. I'm not
All right, go ahead.
I'm not finished.
All right, go ahead.
So I feel like the definition of security has changed. And
Right.
because of that, so
Right.
now men believe, because they know it's changed,
Right. No.
men are believing that, like, you want bags and stuff. Most women are out looking for that financial thing, but that's their test to see if you are financially ready. And then also that's kind of a sign of insecurity for the woman who does not know that it's not about what your man can buy. I have a friend.
Right.
He dated this woman for 10 years, bought a house, 2 kids, a car she don't pay for because he paid for it. All he asks is that you take care of the kids. He proposed. 2 months later, she gave the ring back. Why? Because you don't romance me. Ooh, girl, are you crazy? That's security in this day and age. You got a house over your head. But some women are confused now about security. And it's not our faults. It's not men's faults. But in the society, we have allowed it to be taken away. What's caused that breakdown? Y'all talked about it a few weeks ago when I was listening. Y'all was saying parents are not teaching the way they used to teach.
We about to get loose. It's about to
So
get
I'm
loose.
just saying,
We're
that's
about to
just-
get
that's
brick.
the-
Hold on, Stan, because I know we're gonna get loose.
I moved over some stuff. You can have some more space.
Britt,
I moved over.
You got it. You want to jump in before we get loose in here? 'Cause
I don't have much to say on this topic, but
Girl, please.
like you said, I grew up in a household with a stepfather and a mother, and it was a deal breaker. Like my stepfather, he provided. He was a good man. He did everything he had to do, and it was just like back then, my mother was like, "Well, if you love my child just as much as you love me, that's good, you know, as far as in the relationship wise." And he just stepped up to the plate and did what he had to do, and so that's why I be out here looking for like a man that is decent and secure, and that will take me.
It's
on
similar
the
to him?
Yeah.
I'm gonna lead you in. Okay. I think we talked. We talked a few. We talked a few. Yeah,
That was
we
some
talked
good
to
points.
somebody. I'm gonna lead him in because I know where he about to go. We talked a few weeks ago about this in reference to the weakening of our communities, but more or less the weakening of our men. And what's happened over time is they've made us chase. Yeah, they've made us chase this ideal of the bag and cash, and weakened us mentally and spiritually to the point of us not understanding our true point, purpose, and source of power. That in lies the problem. And like Megan said, it's not necessarily a us or a woman, a man or a woman problem. It's a listen. We're not paying attention to what's happening because we're being weakened. Yes, Stan.
His own buzzer.
I got a lot to say.
Like, not saying that it was right or wrong, but I'm just saying it's
Well,
things evolve in that way. But go
Well,
ahead.
we've gone through a de-evolution actually in a lot of ways. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say a couple of things. Okay, securities are financial. Security don't have nothing to do with protecting your physical body.
Oh,
Security,
no, I don't agree with that.
No. Look it up in the law dictionary.
I mean, I get you, but go ahead.
U.S. dollars are securities. Security is financial. It's not protecting. Security is financial. 1, 2. My great grandfather was more wealthier in his time than any of us are today, and I'm talking about millionaires. My great grandfather and all our great ancestors, they kept gold and silver. They didn't keep Federal Reserve notes.
Right.
We out here chasing a bag because we don't understand finance in the first place.
I'm glad
We don't even understand it. You know what I mean? We get hit with all this inflation, and we really just being taken off our square. You know what I mean? A lot of the atrocity stuff we face is because the dollar is inflating, and that's all we work with. You know what I mean? That's all we working with is Federal Reserve notes. We can't even own them.
And we can't start talking about agreements on the back of the dollar and the Egyptian.
Yeah,
we can't do all that.
Yo, man,
But we have.
But see, the thing about that is that's part of the history, though. Our ancestors was knowing more about where they come from, their history, and what's going on during today.
But that's
we know less about what goes on.
Which makes us weaker generation by generation. The further and further we get away from our actual history culture, we lose less of us. So if we don't actually know who we are as a people,
right? Agreed.
I ain't got to say nothing after that.
It always comes back up.
Comes back to what? And I want to also say this to my last point about the muscles and men atrophying. A lot of it has to do with the household.
Not atrophying. I didn't mean it like that.
Well, I mean, you're saying the brothers is not as swole.
No, I'm not saying. No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's
at
what
all.
you're saying. But hold up. But let me finish what I'm
Go
saying
ahead,
because
go
you said you talked about muscles and the mind like it was separate. The whole body is responsible for the thinking. You know what I'm saying? If you don't exercise, you have 3 brains. You got a brain here, you got a brain in your heart, and you have a brain in your gut. If you're not exercising, you can't use the fullest potential of your intelligence. That is a fact.
But that's not what I was saying.
Right, you were saying that the brothers don't work out or they're not as big. You don't got the Paul Bunyan brother anymore.
No,
you
that's
just got the brother.
That's not what I'm saying. And I forgive myself for not saying it right. What I'm saying is, back then, my grandmother.
Well, can I say this before? Because I really was just trying to make a point. My point is this: the brothers is not as swole as they are because everybody's moving their role. All the brothers, you know what I'm saying, were bigger than and were more muscular or more physique, if you want to say that, because we all had people in the household making sure we had the right things to eat. Point blank, period. The brothers right now don't have no diet. They don't have no sense of diet. And nobody cooks for them or make sure they're eating the right thing. We all eating a whole bunch of stuff that we should not be eating.
I had McDonald's.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
Okay, so hold on, because I can see this is going to flip quickly, and we're going to not do that. We ain't got enough time for that. Yeah. So, go ahead, Nutty.
I mean, I understand the security and all that aspect of it, but I think people are just infatuated with a lifestyle, too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we say like me and Bree, we best friends. Like, if he get married, I'd be like, dang, he get married. Like, he's doing this, he's doing.
I'm sorry, you ain't got the bus.
Say like he get married, and I look at him like, oh, he doing this, he doing that. I wonder what that's like. So I go get married just to be in competition with him. You get what I'm saying? People ain't really falling in love to like being true love. They just like infatuated with a lifestyle, or they in competition with other people. Just so they can say, oh, I did that, or I did this. You know what I'm saying?
Got that done.
That goes.
That's like what I was saying.
That kind of goes back to what we just saying, to some extent. Like, the only reason that can happen is if we kind of weak-minded to some extent. So, when we start to get less, like I said, when we don't understand who we are, we don't have traditions, we don't have foundation. Like, does anybody still have tradition? Do y'all even remember some of the things that used to go on?
Do you still have Thanksgiving at the same house every year?
There's
certain little
Sunday
dinner that we don't.
Family reunion.
Dinner table together.
Right, at all. You got people sitting on their phones, somebody sitting in front of the computer, somebody sitting in front, it's no family thing.
Traditions made and helped us through the times where we didn't have. And that's why, melanin folk understand how to survive no matter what we go through.
Right.
Because we always had tradition, we had structure, we had things to listen. If it get rough, but we got each other, we got to pray. We got to that's all stripped. Now it's just listen. We got to look fly, we got to chase this bag, and we got to do what everybody else doing.
But that's the point that you were saying. That's the point, and that's what I see as you have so many people that go through that. Far as what you're saying, far as I'm trying to get it out because I got it in my head. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's just, and I'm still hearing what you said.
Brittany, slap in the back of the head and come right out.
There it is. Come on,
you go get it out.
That was a little bit too domestic. You've done that before.
On the next show, domestic violence.
But there's also other aspects to that. Like we were discussing at one point in time that also people have a mistaken the love versus lust. Where they actually fall.
To bring it back.
It was the slap to the head. That I've seen a lot of times, and I've experienced myself. you know, far as that people make that mistake of they're thinking that they're in love, but it's just lust. It's just the idea of that person that, you know, you get what I'm saying? So you have to add that in there just as well.
Right.
Shut it down again, hit the button.
I want to say, I realized you hadn't said it, so I tried not to.
It's hard to get the word in.
But I mean, Young Buck, this was your question.
Okay.
In the first place. So.
Yeah. Grab the mic.
I mean, the way y'all explaining and everything, how it was back then and how it is now, when y'all was saying that the dating scene and stuff, I'm still old school. My parents told me it was go to the girl house, ask for the parents' permission, and take her out and everything. So I still down to do that anytime. That's one thing I always try to do, get in with the family first before I even get to know you first. So I know the background.
Good man.
Right.
Smart man, I mean.
But, so I have something to add.
But back then it was the father in the house as well.
And so now I do that. I do that now. People like, you do all that for what? I mean, because it's the right thing. It's it's tradition and it's respectful too.
That's the real.
You don't want to go in there and just go in there and say anything, however you want to be. And people tell me, oh, you going to just go into the grocery store? Why you dressing up so nice? Because my parents always told me first impressions are everything. And wherever I go, I want to make my impression stand. I want you to remember me when you see me.
So I agree with everything he said. But the problem isn't always just necessary.
Why you always out there?
Oh, because Stan was going to blow, and I ain't want to get none of that, none of that backlash.
I ain't about to blow,
some of the problem that we have is that the woman will see Tony, he's respectful, he's trying to do the right thing, going to school, working, he's not in the street, pants not sagging, and they don't want him. They don't want him because he's not Lil Wayne, you know, or he doesn't look like Lil Uzi Vert, or, you know, or he's not so high that he can't complete a complete sentence. He's he's talking like that. But off the perk, huh? Yeah, like he's off the perk, off the Xanny.
Like I did it. Oh, boy.
I was on the bus the other day and I heard some youngins talking to the girl. And he said, hey, boo, can I get your number? So she said, yeah, well, how you doing? He said, man, and I swear to y'all, he ended up getting the number. And I say, man, I don't even know what he said in that part. Maybe it was something smooth that she talking. I don't know. But if that was Tony, and he would say, excuse me, young lady, how you doing? My name is Tony. You know, I see you looking very nice, and I would like to ask you out on a date or something. Can we exchange numbers?
What?
Yeah, you know, you what?
You know though.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. My mic fell off. I got it. Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh boy, that was a good shot I had, boy. Go ahead. Who was next, Stan? What you
Nah. I'm just gonna say that's really the way you kind of should do it anyway, though, because you're gonna attract the right person.
So
instead of just dealing with everybody.
When he said something, I need him to talk about. But go ahead. Make
that was it.
Oh yeah, because I
with a stripper.
No, he
basically that was what I was saying over here.
I'm just saying that, you know, that's the way it go now.
That was in '96. This is 2019. I'd like
what you
to
were
change.
just saying, basically, there's a source from that, and what he said based off what he was talking about, which was.
I have no clue. We said a lot of things.
We
said a lot of things over here on the side. I'm dead serious. We said a lot of things over here on the side.
What he said was part of the problem. What he's talking about, I can't believe you forgot that.
Yeah, seriously.
That the father's not in the house. You know, the
father wrote. Oh, that part.
Yeah, that's true.
That being taken out of the house. I'm saying,
Right.
I can't make your point.
No,
I know what you were going to say.
But that's what you got when you were younger. That's what you seen, you know, and that's how it was passed on. You know, when you seen your mother and your father interacting with each other and how to love, showing how to love your mother, how to love your father. When you don't see that now. You get what I'm saying? Where they see it from is actually on Instagram, the TV. That's where they see how to love someone. That's where they're seeing it from, to be honest. Because I've walked down on my nieces and nephews on the phone. I'm like, what are you watching?
You know,
huh?
TikTok. Jesus Christ.
You understand what I mean? So when you have that and I see that, but also I would like to ask the question that we were talking about earlier. When did that break down to where there wasn't any more, that we weren't passing that down? When did it stop?
I think I have some answers for that, but now you're about to say something.
I think back in the day also, like, looking from our parents and, like, older people back in the day, what they did, whether it was right or wrong, they showed me what not to do and what to do. As far as like when I get in my relationship.
That's real.
But that's because people cared back then.
Real quick, but that's also, I agree with you, because I was just talking to Tracy, one of the guys from neighborhood, Tracy. And Tracy, Black Tracy. Black Tracy might not have been the most upstanding guy, but he looked out for us, and he told us, look, I'm out here doing this, but you need to go to school. Nah, look, I'm trying to get these pair of shoes. I tell you what, you go to school, I'll give you $100 for this. There were people like him, Locke, there were Big Mitch, there were other people in the neighborhood that did wrong.
Flood, actually.
Flood.
You know, so we had guys that even though they did wrong, they tried to steer us from wrong, but we still had the respect enough to listen. The respect factor was not missed, because we all still talking this like, man, why you doing this? Why you shouldn't do this? Man, you ain't my father.
Right.
You know what? It's not worth me sitting out here getting into a fist fight with you over this.
But didn't we just talk about that?
Yeah, I'm about to say, because even then you can't just jump, because those guys you talked about still are systematically a part of the bigger system. They just older than us, so we see them that way. But they were still raised by what we talked about. It was the women in our community. So even though, because just set a conversation, we were just talking about this. Like, we may see them this way because they looked out for us, but it was because they missed so much already because they didn't have the fathers in the house. So no matter what it comes back to the fathers in the house, because you have a generation that's right above us. They aren't that older than us.
So I got that. Let me ask a question, but does it have to be a father if there's a man in your life trying to steer you correctly?
It has to be a father to some extent, not necessarily your father. A father figure. Because you can't just say
but I get what he's saying.
Yeah, you can't just say
Tracy
a man.
was like
right. I get where you get ready to go with that.
Like that's what I'm saying. Tracy did a lot for us in the neighborhood.
That's
for us.
No,
No, he wasn't protecting us at all. Because we had to. Because one thing he made us do. For example, we used to have to always box Tracy.
You're not getting it.
I do understand it. This is what we're different.
I get what he's trying to say.
What I'm saying is that
I was the youngest out of the group always. So like, you know. Huh?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was the youngest out of the group always. So like, he just saying like, the guidance was there.
Yeah.
The guidance was there.
But I'm gonna hit you with something that he said now where we be talking with a lot. Like, I get that. But the fullness of, as we discussed last week, the week before last, the fullness of a man is not in sections. It's in wholeness. It's in accountability. So a man doesn't just tell you what to do and guide you what to do. He's accountable for his choices and what he does too.
Right.
And a lot of these guys we talking about, as we know, aren't necessarily accountable for their choices because they continue to make the same. That's not being accountable.
That's
so
true.
when we talking about being a man, that's what a man in wholeness is. We all kind of discovered what we all knew looks like, right? So if you understand that, I don't want my son being led by a man that's half man.
Right. I get what.
So it requires a father figure or a man in terms of wholeness,
right,
to get the greatest value out of that child or that group, because that is. I get what you're saying, because we took what we had and they were the best of what we. But that's not. Even if you look at what we're trying to do now, we understand that we still fell short on a lot of things. So many things we didn't get. Yeah, we were protecting and we got through, but there's so many things we did not get, and that's why we're doing what we're doing, so that our kids can get that.
Yeah.
That's what a man looks like, understanding accountability.
if I didn't have that half, I wouldn't be able to give my daughter any home.
I get
because
that.
what I would have done, I would have ran with Marvin. I would have ran with Weed. The same guys that I still hung with in school. All of you, Breelove know that when I went to Dunbar, hold on, you left. So instead of me staying with Marvin, and as y'all know, one of my best friends, Flood, I chose to go with Locke and Tracy. And I'm telling you, Tracy first would never take me fishing. Ever. I understand what you're saying.
I'm not saying that, but I'm telling you, I get you. So stop that. You ain't got to repeat yourself.
So am I 6-1?
No, you're not 6-1. That's all you want to do.
Nah, I'm taking 6-1. I'm with Stan. You found the judge, Stan, okay? You're the judge, Stan. 6-1. He gave me a nod.
What we saying, honestly, I don't want you to confuse people. Like what we saying in general, Poundz, I get what you're saying. Those people were absolutely of value. But we shouldn't, listen, we shouldn't settle for a piece of the pie for our children.
I get it.
If you didn't have that, you wouldn't be anywhere. But that's why we are searching for whole, not half.
I get it. And if
so
we
at that point,
my whole thing is if I get half, I'm going to take half.
We're not going to do but you don't take half if you can have whole, and you shouldn't.
There is no whole where we were.
There is whole if you're accountable.
Where was the whole? They were accountable.
Accountable.
They're accountable
Your choice,
now.
No, you can't be accountable.
Why?
Okay, you just arguing now.
I
Anyway, so get back over here. So what you were just saying, in terms of what we're talking about, I think that is actually the systematic breakdown. Actually, what we're arguing about, like we have settled for being complacent in what we can get because we're here. If we're here, then it must have been okay, right? Well, I'm sitting right here, and if I didn't make it right here, then what would I be? Listen, you hear by the grace of God or the higher power or whatever it is you believe in. Right. But is there not better? Do you not feel like inside of you, like it has to be more than this?
Man.
If everybody in this room, nobody in this room feels like that?
Man, look, I give you a perfect example of that. You know what I'm saying? My aunt and them, every time I go to North Carolina, they cooking all the pig feet, all the chitlin, everything, right? And you know, now I'm vegetarian, so I don't eat that. So they get on me every time I come to North Carolina. Go on, eat some chicken. Go on, eat that. Go on, eat. And the line is, our ancestors ate it. They made it off of that. They made it off of pig feet.
Yeah,
they made it off of pig ears and tongues. You could eat that too. You know what I'm saying? And in 2019, I'm like, nah, I know better.
Don't look at me, because I get it.
I'm not coming for anybody. I'm just saying, like, look.
Don't look at me, but
now I'm not even talking. You know, everybody eat what they eat. I'm just saying the worst parts of the animal. People are still cooking that and eating it.
Sis
you know
was over here. I mean, Megan was over here, and I heard her say something. That's why I looked this way, not at you, because I didn't want to hear you.
I said bravo. That's what I said. I mean, because you're right. You're absolutely right. I said bravo. But I was trying to get back over here to what Anthony was talking about initially.
Okay.
And he was saying, we've been talking about this in the natural. Let's do this in the spiritual. You hollering at these girls, right? You come at them with your respect and your stuff. Maybe that's just knocking out all the foolishness that you might have to go through. Because I've been watching y'all show.
Right.
Y'all done talked about all the women that y'all done dated and went through, and like, oh my gosh, like that wasn't worth the time of day till I found the one that I'm happy with. That right there might be helping you skip all the foolishness. Because who wants to talk to a woman who would answer to that?
Right.
Who wants to wife up a woman who literally only wants me to buy her crap?
Right.
So basically,
standards, yeah. I say that.
Don't drop your standards.
No shorts.
Right.
Don't drop your standards for nobody. I don't care what they saying. If she want to talk to mumbling dude, that's all they doing now is mumble rap.
You know where that's going.
You know what he gonna pass the mumbles to his baby and everybody else. You don't want that. So that's what that is. You got to listen to that inside sometimes too. Don't think that was something don't think that was something that was somebody rejected me.
Right.
Nah, that was helping you walk yourself away because you don't want to deal with that foolishness. You want somebody upright, somebody you could show with your friends proudly and be like, yeah, she might be in school all the time. We a little short on cash, but we still got family. We building that real love.
Yeah.
We building that real love. You building that security for what y'all need, and then you grow. Y'all can be great.
Yep.
I got somebody for you.
No,
that's like I was saying.
I think, sis, are you still there?
So you said the crab cakes are excellent fire, right? 'Cause my man is at work. We got to get him in here. Okay, all right. I'll go back to it, but the crab cakes are fire. You know, hey, let's do it.
Can we speak? Sis is still on the phone, and I'm not.
Hey, sis.
Sis?
Hey.
Okay, I thought so, sis. I didn't forget about you. They just all talking.
The only thing that I would add to the conversation is the difference between, and I'm just speaking from a woman's perspective, the difference between what women are teaching their kids back then and what they're teaching them now. My mother always brought me up to, as far as security and looking for a man, to always find security in myself. Whether I'm married or not, you don't know what happens today or tomorrow. Anything I do, I need to be able to handle that on my own. That person in a relationship is a plus, but I can't predict what's going to happen in the future. I want to build together, but I also knew and was raised to make sure that I made my own security. Go to school, get your education, which is something that nobody else can take from you, and be able to build your own security.
Right.
I think that that's what's lacking in females these days. On my father's side, one thing my father taught me, as far as, you know, how you all are talking about how boys be boo and yelling girls across the street, always knew not to pay attention to those guys. Guys calling me from one side of the street and think I'm going to walk across the street to have a conversation. I was raised, you don't walk across the street to another man for him to get your number and have a conversation. So I think the biggest difference is how people are raising their kids these days. And I do think that social media is raising a lot of kids. But I also know there are families now who are telling their kids the same thing. They get to school with their friends and learn something different, and that's more appealing to them, and that's what they're doing.
Good point, right there.
Yeah. No, this is a very interesting situation because Sis grew up with her mother and her father, and Megan, you also. So even though, and I wasn't initially getting to that point, that's not the reason, but if you listen to them both talk and their experiences, are y'all hearing it? Are you hearing it?
Yeah.
Are you not hearing it?
Oh yeah.
Mother and father, my father, like there is when you. I'm not saying that it's going to be in every situation, but absolutely, it was created in that way for that purpose. Mother and father, you know what I'm saying? That's how it was created. Now, through time, y'all don't misunderstand. I'm not arguing because I understand it touches toes. Over time, it's broken down. It's systematically gone this way and gone that way. Yeah. It's nothing I can do about that. But realistically, you can't be mad at me for telling you, listen, I didn't make it mother and father. I was born only 38 years ago. Right. But somebody said husband, wife, mother, and father. So therefore, there had to be a system and a role and a way of things that they were supposed to work. And if you look at the breakdown of the community and how things are messed up and how kids are being preyed on, school shootings, church shootings, kids being taken, kids being touched. We can act like we don't see all that and say, oh, well, my opinion is different from your opinion, or my opinion is different from your opinion. That's part of the problem. All these different opinions systematically break down the source of tradition and structure that we no longer have. Therefore, we are our own problem. Period. Accountability. Yeah. But I know that everybody feels what they feel, and I'm fine with that because there's nothing I can do about that. That's why I'm attacking a lot of the times. But I'm not going to hide the truth because there are children being literally preyed on every single day because the adults are only worried about their happiness and peace of mind and how they feel about their lives. But they keep having kids that they're supposed to protect, provide, and lead. Enough said. Go ahead, man.
We got a question on live from Brian. Shout out to Brian, Megan's brother.
What's that, B?
He said, so because fathers aren't in the home, does that give a pass to mothers who are responsible for raising her kids?
Does it give a pass? No, because we just finished talking about, well, me and you talking about this, I think. Like, when I speak, I'm not speaking to the sense of, well, you know, oh, this is just how it is. It's speaking to the sense of, oh, well, it's just what it is. So I understand. So, no, a mother doesn't get a pass because you laid down too, right? And even if whatever the situation wound up having, I grew up with just mother. My father passed away. So we all had situations. You still got to step up.
It's different from how it was back in the day as well, though. You know, back in the day, a whole village would raise a child.
Like our community.
You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, a child today, like a whole neighborhood can't raise a child today like it did back in the day.
Because their views is I.
Well,
most people's views is me, I. Especially the youth. I have to get this. I have to do this. I have to be the man. I have to be the whatever. Instead of it being, okay. So somewhere along the line, strength in numbers became a bad thing. When we were younger, strength in numbers was a good thing.
Right.
But now it's like, you know what? I can't roll with Hody because Stan gonna think I'm weak because I'm with Hody. So now what I have to do is I have to be my own man, and I have to find my own way, and Hody's gonna have to find his own way, and you gotta find your own way. But somehow, collectively as a group, we still gonna be together because we boys and we gonna be down the same path. But so a lot of it is changed from us, because you know what? One thing, that's what we always said. It was us. We were a group. It was us. It was always us. We were always together. It was us. Everybody knew us as us because that's what we were. Us, about 5 or 6 that always stayed together. Everybody house.
I wasn't known as us.
You part of us.
I was an individual.
See, this is where the I started from, right here.
I started that one.
He was it.
There's a Spanish mafia.
Well, one thing I want to ask, because we say this a lot, but I don't think that people really have a grasp on the concept. We say raising kids, or who raised you, or how was you raised?
Versus rearing.
What does that mean? What are we speaking on when you talk about raising a person? What does that mean?
Are you gonna bite my head off?
No, I'm not.
I believe the word I believe the word should be rearing for the rearing. I don't say raising. I say rearing. Because,
all right.
Oh, he's the best part of the show.
But go ahead.
Anybody?
All right. So for me, raising a kid is instilling the values of your village into that child, right?
Okay.
Now, the question online was, is the mother let off the hook? So my daughter, her father passed away. So she's 7. He passed when she was 3. But I made it, like online, my responsibility to make sure that there was some form of father figure around her. I'm very picky about what man comes into her life. But her uncle, online, her grandfather, every man at church that I know I can trust, and even my male friends, there's like 3 of them who I trust, who will come and get her. They will take care of her. I know they will instill in her what a woman should have as standards. I know they're going to teach her the same thing I would want her to do. And I know that. And so because her dad's not there, I took the time to pick these certain men to come in and help me to raise her on that front until I do find a man that I can bond with again. But that also goes to say that is my village.
Right.
And that's how I was raised, even with my mom and my dad together.
Right.
That village right there.
Now, okay.
And that's our security.
Right. Well, okay. The word raise deals with enlightenment. It does not deal with instilling, culturing,
but I'm enlightening her about.
Well, no. This is what I'm saying. African peoples of the world. No, I'm not playing. I'm telling you the real meanings of the words. We use words creatively, but words have an actual meaning.
Yes, they do.
Okay. Everybody has a soul. You understand what I'm saying? That is what you are raising in someone. If the people are not enlightening the youth, and we are not raising their solar quality, we are not raising their consciousness, we are not raising the children.
Question.
Okay.
I don't know how much. Hold on. Time
You say you don't believe in raising the soul?
Jesus, God gives us a soul.
Yeah, your soul. Okay. Hold. Let me explain it. Okay, let me explain it.
We're here. Listen, hold on. You know exactly.
All right, go ahead.
Send me a question. I'll answer it.
Okay, so would they both actually gonna wind up saying the same thing when we come back to this?
Because we did it the last time.
Megan is coming back. I'm putting her on the spot because Megan is coming back.
It's basically what they said. It's wordplay. That's all it is.
Technically,
it's not. The same thing. That's what I'm saying.
Kinda no.
You know what we're saying is you guys are going to get to the same point.
I don't think so.
I just want to try one of my
Similar point. No. I think we're gonna get to a similar point, but not the same.
Poundz had his own show over there.
I think that a lot of people neglect the power of enlightenment and what it truly means. Because all African people before we was enslaved by Europeans, our main focus was enlightenment.
Yeah.
And that is a large part of our character, our solar character, our spirit, and we just don't acknowledge that at all.
But that being said,
go ahead.
Cut you off. Like, what she say and what you're saying is like she's saying, well, you know, Jesus Christ gives us the spirit, like.
Okay.
Yes. Hold on, right? Listen. Yes.
Okay.
Clean it up.
Yes. But also,
I hope I ain't
the light that you speak of and being enlightened.
Right.
When you really have, when they say, oh, you get the spirit, like you get the spirit in church, like in church, you get the spirit.
Right.
It's raising up something inside of you.
Right.
So you guys aren't really saying too much of the.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Hold. Let me chime in. Hold on. Since y'all want to use Jesus, okay, let's talk about Jesus. Let's talk about Jesus, okay? Because Jesus was in fact enlightened. He went to school in Egypt. He went to a mystery school for 20 or 30 years. He was the highest adept that came out of that temple. He came out of that temple doing miracles and everything. He was enlightened. He went through a process of enlightenment, and he did rituals, and he was initiated. That is a fact.
And that is where we're going to end
that is a
part
fact.
of this conversation.
I was trying to finish, man.
Jesus was enlightened.
I was ready.
Y'all ain't know that about Jesus, huh?
I did because we talked about it.
Yeah.
But
I was waiting for her backhand.
We're going to come back to we have another part of this going on. But I think what we're going to do after this is done, we're going to dive into enlightenment and some things. We'll put it out. You guys will know. But I like where this is going. I want to give you a chance to really enlighten the people.
Word.
And I want to give you a chance to give the other side of that.
Yep.
and I'm going to just enjoy the view, and we're going to keep Poundz quiet.
No, we not. No, we are not.
Don't be mentioning other shows.
And we're going to let Bree answer the question I've been trying to ask him for 20 minutes.
If you shoot it out there,
yeah.
I get it. Eventually.
Nevertheless, man, anybody, what we doing on live? Anybody, we good? Okay,
we good.
So, yeah, we kind of at the end of this situation, right? We
got 5.
Oh, we got 5. Okay, so we can. I thought we was pretty because I was looking.
Oh, but get back into it. Ding, 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 ding.
You got 2.5. Oh, matter of fact, you spoke last. You got.
Ask his question. I want to hear the question. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I did. I wanted. That was like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah,
you can always backtrack. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask him when he was talking about growing up in a household with what do you say, a city slicker and
on the country.
Like as a child, seeing that view, like what effect did that have on you in terms of your view as a man in relationships and so forth, et cetera?
No damn body in the house.
What?
Wait, I told you.
Answer your question.
Oh,
Go
God.
ahead.
I'm so sorry.
Answer the question, please.
I got you.
Let me get that outbreak monkey.
Yeah, I know exactly. I mean, you've seen the best and the worst of both worlds. You know what I mean? As far as the city slicker, it was the slick talking and the know how to romance a woman in a slick little way. The country woman, which is my mother, is old fashioned. She wants to take her time. You get what I'm saying? So when you had those two collide, now mind you, I wasn't there I was born, but I wasn't there doing, like I was too young to remember the dating, like Sis said earlier. But, but I seen right before the marriage and the marriage thing. But it was very interesting. And you all know the ones that were there.
Yeah, that's why I asked. It was interesting.
But that's why I'm not gonna get too much into it.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Because we'll have to go into a whole nother show.
I
What
knew
you say,
get too
Malcolm? There's a show going on over here.
I'm doing my own show on IG now.
Because you gotta block him out.
I see.
I think. I told him already. You got an intervention for this guy. That's why when you said it, because we kind of have some personal, history as far as I wanted to hear.
Right.
So I knew we couldn't get too deep into it, but.
We got the after party. The after party.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We are gonna stay live.
Yeah, right. I just didn't want to get into that part of it because we broke it down. I mean,
we gonna stay live
some of the things I got taught wrong
on IG.
I showed you didn't do. You know what I mean? Poundz taught me.
Said we calling it the little after party. So we'll be live for about 10-15 minutes.
Wait, do your thing.
If anybody knows,
if somebody's missing on
if
next
anybody
episode.
knows of a clinic, we can have intervention to get him into.
I need a cushy clinic. I'm not going to no clinic. That's 4 walls.
He's got to go to some type. He be sipping tussin. Yeah, he got his tussin, man. He got a tussin.
No, I thought you say he was sipping tussie.
No.
That's the old deodorant back in the day. That women had to take that thing and put it in. No, I'm like that. I'm
man.
You hit that? Where'd you
No, what
find
it was,
that?
I was in a financial shortage. I didn't come no earlier. So instead of going and getting the good stuff, I had to go to the Dollar Tree and get the Dollar Tree version. It's only called Tussin. I don't even know what that is, but it worked.
Oh my goodness, man. He is a fool.
So yeah, I think this has been an awesome show. Thank you guys.
For sure.
Wonderful show this week.
As always, we get better with each go. As always, I like to give everybody a chance to kind of tell everybody where you are, social media platforms, any shout outs you want to give. So we can start with the man that hasn't had a chance to really say too much today. Mo, tell them again where they can find you.
Chef Superdad _202. All your seafood, put your orders in every weekend.
Yes, sir.
Certified excellent food, guys. Try it out. Give them a call.
Shout out to wifey for calling. Shout out to wifey for calling in.
Thanks, sis. We appreciate you.
Son, I love you.
Shout out mom, pop, sis, whole fam. Shout out to y'all.
Shout out to wifey, to my 2 girls. Soraya, I'm glad you're doing better. Lyric, I'll see you tomorrow. To my mom, sister, just to the whole family. And to the panel, I want to thank you for coming on. Stan, thank you for the enlightenment. And Mo, excellent food once again.
Yes, sir.
Check out pursuittour.com. Spell it right. And then more information will be coming soon for April 2020.
Oh. Hello. Well, before we do this, I'm sorry, Britt. Britt, go ahead, let him know, cause
I can't take these guys serious for nothing. They crazy, y'all. Pretty Brown Eyes, 24, Instagram, Books Over Bullets.
Wait. Let me leave you in.
I'm sorry.
This is Black Love.
I don't know where that came from. I do not agree with that at all. My name is Anthony. All that Black Love stuff. No, shout out to my mom, my G babies, my brother, my sister, everybody, and the whole round the way. But of course, the podcast panel today. And Stan.
Yes, sir.
You are the man.
Thank you, man. I'm trying.
Smartest man in show business.
I'm trying.
Your shout, baby.
It's on me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, first off, I want to shout out all the Scorpios out there. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to shout out the Ascension Conference. They tried to call me in the last minute, but it didn't work out. But still want to send them some love. You know what I'm saying? Up there in New York. And shout out to ABX, man.
Hello, my name is Poundz.
So
that's how they did it back in the day. That's how they walked up to you. Yeah, my name is.
As always, I like to close it out with just a quick thought. Man, listen, nobody has all the right answers. Notice a shout out to you, as he said, man. You just gotta, when unsure of what to do, and knowing you're doing the right thing, just keep going. Move forward. Even if you got to fall forward. When you get up, you're going to be a little bit further ahead than you were when you started.
That's right.
Don't forget that. I need to give a shout out to my oldest boy, Jaden, wifey, Mama McCombs, Mama P, Doc, Connect to the Bridge. My entire team, everybody that's here, love you guys. I appreciate each of you. We joke, we kid, but I'm serious. Like, man, we about to do something real special that ain't been done before. And y'all stay tuned, because we have so much in store. Mr. Black, we have a book deal in place, people. We're about to get real. So our book should be out beginning of the year. So shout out to Mr. Black and the Divine Group for looking out. And I'm not forgetting anybody you need. Oh. Megan also is working with us in getting our apparel up and moving. So we will have Abstract Excellence and ABX clothing line coming soon. And
Poundz Skull Caps also.
So you about the segment?
Shout out Box Wave.
I'm sorry. Yes, indeedy. Box Wave, Star Imports. Reggie, appreciate you, bro, for giving us the look. Listen, I told you we gonna do something. Anybody else I forgot? Charge it to my head, not my heart. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. The kids.
We'll get you next week.
Jaycob the jeweler. What's up, baby? Jayde, the boss. Can you tell them what time it is?
See you later. Skull cap for the wintertime. Poundz. What about the top of it? Have all the kids wearing Poundz skull caps.
Face you first, black lives, they don't give a damn, so you gotta stay strapped in America. Black, they don't understand what we go through. I don't give a damn what they told you. They be lying in the media, don't believe none of what you hear, and only half what they show you. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America, out cause I'm old and black. I'm destined for jail cells and hearses, Lord, that's all they see for my future.